there's a lot of stuff tied in. A lot of it came from a desire to feel. I was tired of being so numb, and I thought actually by going in, confronting these demons that I had been afraid of for so long was a way to feel something. And by going
Mm.
inwards and beginning to resensitize myself and know what's going on in there, it's just brought a lot of clarity to my external world. Um,
Yeah, man. And something that you said, and that what you just mentioned too, Ben, about feeling like you felt numb, but you wanted to feel, and that was the reason that you went inwards. And Ben, you mentioned about the world's set up in such a way that there's this short term
mm,
gratification, like porn, alcohol, drugs, social media, all these little short term dopamine hits,
Comforts. Yeah,
comforts, yeah, to feel good.
yeah.
So for Lee to get to that realization that you were numb and that you wanted to feel, did you do that by yourself? How did you go on that journey? Did you have people help you go inwards and explore those
um,
shadows?
I think it was mostly with my partner and I. We dove really heavily into sacred union practice and kind of gone into our
Mm.
own separate kind of autonomous journeys while also tracking together and seeing how much of a mirror we are for each other.
What's sacred union?
It's a way of kind of bringing awareness to a romantic relationship. So instead of we're married, um, the way that our world kind of views marriage, it's this institution. People get married, they sign a contract, and then they're expected to live a certain way. But a lot of what like the tantric practices are, it's a way of celebrating a union between the masculine and feminine, which mirrors the internal masculine and feminine in me. So as I bring my masculine and feminine sides into union, my partner and I are, yeah, and she's practicing that same thing as well. So the deeper we can do that, the deeper we're able to come into union ourselves and create kind of this third entity between us that, like a spiritual child. It has needs. It needs nurturing. It needs attention and focus and care and mm,
Yeah, the something I've written down here is that there's levels and layers to the
mm,
conversation.
mm.
Um,
Yes.
Yeah.
because you know what I mean? Like, because they're getting into this, it's like it's an endless
Mm,
onion. There's so many layers that just keep unfolding and unfolding. And in doing so, there is a deeper sense of fulfillment and contentment. And like you're saying, union and coming together and intimacy, whether it's on an individual level and connecting to your heart or in a physical, intimate relationship that's deeper and deeper. But as we rise, grow in consciousness and let go of these shadows, more of them sort of
mm,
reveal. I look at where entrepreneurs, I know that everything in an entrepreneur, the further and deeper I've gone into business, there's more and more levels and layers of my shadows and insecurities that come up. And there's one that spoke its head up a couple of years ago, like this deep fear of
mm.
success. Like it wasn't of failure, it was of succeeding. I was like, what? Where the fuck did this come from? And I had to go explore it. And yeah, it was really interesting to see where that came from because it came from a deep seated stuff that happened in my childhood and these beliefs that I created, um, and it was really interesting. So for that fear of success, especially in business, it was got what you mentioned about rock bottom, man. So I had a gambling addiction. I was using everything known to man to feel some sort of human emotion as a man. So like prostitutes, gambling, drugs, alcohol, steroid abuse. And the biggest one was around money and
Mm.
finances because I was just gambling it every week. I was on big money construction in my young 20s and it was just all going to pokies and horses. And that was how I was feeling any sort of win or sense of celebration within my
Mm.
life. Then coming to business for myself, and that was the big trigger was then having children. And it's just like, oh, the fear of success come about as like, if I go where I know where my potential can take me, that there was this fear of success that I'd get there and sabotage it and burn it all to the ground and leave my family high and dry, like I'd left myself high and dry for many years on this continual loop of self sabotage.
Mm.
Uh, and so, yeah, it was interesting. My wife caught it and she's like, okay, you got some shit going on. You have the tools. I'm taking the kids. You have 6 hours. Sort your shit out. And so I was like,
Oh wait,
yeah.
so this is like one day you're parenting. Wait, she just comes up to you and is like, "Dude, like this doesn't. You're not cutting it as a dad."
So it wasn't as a father; it was in business. You could and
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it wasn't just all of a sudden. She could see the flux of the growth in business. It had capped and then go
Mm.
down, and it just kept hitting this like this glass ceiling. And then yeah, it got to a point. I just remember it was at dinner one night and asking her like if she's ever, because she's been an entrepreneur longer than me. And it's like, do you ever want to throw in business? It's like all the time. I'm like, well, how do you not do that? And she's like, oh, I just run myself. What's the other option? And so I like started looking back at going back on the tools and the construction. I'm like, yeah, fuck that. And within that next couple of weeks, there was no change. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, there's a glass ceiling. What is that? And then I'm like, I just really, there's this fear of success coming up. She says, cool, we'll go sort your shit out. Find out what that is. Go dig. You have a lot of tools in your repertoire. Have that solitude and go inwards and find out what it is. So it was like that, just, yeah. And it was really interesting because she gave me the masculine approach that I really needed, was just as like, hey, just go sort your shit out, man. Go in, just take the time, take the capacity. And it was really interesting because I was avoiding like what we're saying here, that suppression. I was avoiding of uncovering my truth with a little t, of like why I was suppressing myself. I didn't want to look at that. I was avoiding actually owning, oh fuck, I've got a problem. Oh fuck, I have sabotaged up until now. Um, and re-examining all of those vices that I was addicted to.
What was allowing you to avoid? Was there like something in your life, like your relationship, your job situation? Like, was there something that was like allowing you to just coast?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, just pretending that I was busy. You know,
Busyness, man.
busyness. I don't have enough time to go inwards. You know what I mean?
Too
I'm
busy.
I'm too busy. I've got a couple of kids now. I've got business. Everything's too busy, and so
Mm,
that's why my wife goes, I have the kids. You have
yeah.
no more excuses. You have 6 hours. Sort your shit out.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy. I think about busy. I was actually just talking about that earlier today. I was like, busyness is like, it's the new, anyway, busyness is just, yeah, it's poisonous, man. It's just so, it's bad, man. It's a new curse, man.
And it all keeps coming back to this, I think, this common through line that we're saying about ownership, responsibility. I'm the only one that's responsible for filling all of my day and time with all of this stuff. That's
Yeah.
on me. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
responsible for that.
That's like very real in my life right now. I
Mm.
like literally, I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm managing so much. I'm a father. I have 3 businesses. I want to play around with men's work. I want to do all these fun things with my family. And it's just been hitting me like a ton of bricks lately. I'm just like, I got caught again. I'm in the busy trap. Like, Ben, what do you want to do? Like, and this idea of just stop everything, take a moment and reflect and just like eliminate everything from the schedule. Like, you're
Mm.
lucky you got that from your wife, man. She go do
Yeah, man.
it.
So with that elimination process, I know there's going to be a lot of men or listeners listening right now. It's like, fuck, my plate is so full. Ben,
Yeah.
Blaze, like, how do we clear that plate? How do I take stuff off?
Yes. Yep.
So I'd love for you to offer the listeners, like, how do you get to a position of clearing the plate? Because I have an example as well, but it might be a bit left field. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you, Ben.
How do you clear the plate? One of the things that I remember, a coach I was working with a long time ago, like one of my first coaches, he was like, your schedule is like a vacuum. You clear something out, you're gonna fill it up, unless like it's gonna fill up. Your schedule is just gonna fill up. Even if you have nothing to do, it's gonna fill up. And I always think about that. I'm like, oh, that's right. I have to intentionally, like consciously, like if I want to go skiing with my family, put it in the fucking calendar. If I
Mm.
want to take a week break and just like kind of just like reflect, then it has to go on the calendar. Everything has to go on the calendar, even chill
Yeah.
time. Now, I'm not good at this. I am like, if you look at my calendar, you will not see that. You'll see a lot of like family things and like fun things. Um, but yeah, the other thing too is just really opening up like what you think is possible when it comes to time. And this is like a double-edged sword, because like as you realize how much time you actually have in life, you can also just fill it up even more. So, so part of it is like just really seeing like how much time you have in your day, and like asking yourself, how are you using that? It's almost like a thing of it, like efficiency. But yeah, I'd say like calendar, put it in the calendar, and then
Mhm.
also like really examine like how you're using your 24 hours in a day, like down to like the half hour.
Mm.
Yeah. The um, the one thing that I'd like to add is that one thing that I'm learning, and this is very new, is around how um, our subconscious continues to work when we're not working. And so as that staying within the stillness, we'll find the clarity. So a lot of the time I've been conditioned, go, 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 work, grind, and grudge my way through it. Now, what I'm learning is taking these taking intervals and breaks. Recently, I've got a herniated disc in my back. So every 20 minutes, I have to stand up, stretch for just a minute, and it's been really challenging because I'll be in the middle of something, like working, writing an email, or creating. But in that break, where I'm able just to stop, my subconscious is still computing, and it's when I get back, I'm way more efficient. So having these little moments of pause and interruption within my day, but like you were saying, man, scheduling some time to actually go for a surf. My wife actually said to me today, we sat down, and I know that you know Ben, pockets of time. So for the listener,
Yeah,
viewers, if you can
pockets of
see
time.
this, we have our calendar here. So we actually break our day into 15-minute intervals. So I have a calendar, my wife has got a calendar, and now with this new routine of school that's been introduced with our eldest boy, we've had to redo our calendar. And she said to me, I know that you do jiu-jitsu twice a week, but I want to remind you that surfing is your soul's thing. It's the place that you get to be. I don't see surfing on your calendar. And she knows that every time I surf, I come back a different man, because it's my place just to be. There is no goal for me to get. There is no achievement. There is no accolade or gold star at the end of it, because it's just where I get to connect with nature by myself, just me in the ocean, salt water, wash it off all that negativity. So it's a beautiful reminder of like, hey man, I've got to choose myself, because all of that right now is filled up with health, family, and business. But where's that play and that fun? And so, yeah, thank you for that beautiful reminder from Ben and my wife to schedule in play and fun. The other thing I just wanted to mention with like how can we clear that plate? And so there's another frame or like a reframe, looking at or examining the things that we want in life and why we do certain things, is all these things that we're filling our time and our day with. It's not the actual thing that we desire as a human. It's the feeling that that thing gives us that we actually desire. So, sense of like, say, for my work, I found purpose of giving and being of service. Yet, if I wasn't involved in men's work, I would still find another way to be of service and get that same feeling. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Oh yeah.
And so like buying it, like the house, it's like it's not the house that gives you security and safety and this sense of accomplishment. Like I do that. Same with happiness. Money can't buy happiness. I give that. And so another thing to examine is if your plate is really full, actually looking at, and this is really interesting because a lot of the time people will just fill their things with these tangible items, but they never actually ask themselves, how do I want to feel at the end of the day?
Mm.
And so asking yourself, how do I want to feel at the end of the day? And are these things making me
Yeah.
feel that way? Or are they filling a void? The other thing, then, if we're all these things that we're filling in our day with, and we want to call those goalposts, are those goalposts set for you and for what you desire as an individual or a family unit, or are those goalposts to please
Yeah.
somebody else? Because I know a lot of those goalposts that I had set for myself was to, one, have my dad say he's proud of
Mm.
me, and number two, one up my brother. And so that meant that my dad and my brother, they had my power, man. And I was just going so hard,
Mm.
and there was like at the cost of the detriment of myself.